Hi, my name's Rebecca Brockton and welcome to the Meet Magento UK YouTube channel. Today I'm joined by Brian Mapley, Head of Mid-Market UK Sales at silver sponsor Adyen. Can you tell me a little bit about Adyen?
Yeah, for sure. So Adyen is a full multi-channel payment solution. So we are the gateway, we are the merchant account, and we are the in-house built fraud tool as well on one platform. And we have built direct rails into the card schemes to get that high authorization rate that everyone's kind of looking for. So as well as that, we do that across multiple channels. So we take payments across point of sale, mobile, and e-commerce, and we blur those lines. So if you go into the Adyen back office, you can see all of those channels through one login.
Amazing, excellent. And what is it that you do there?
So I've been at Adyen now for 5 years. I started as mid-market sales, but now I actually head up the mid-market sales team right across the UK.
Well, how long have you been doing that for?
So I've been doing that for the last year now, and we've been expanding that team. So we're now up to 5. Recently opened an office in Manchester, which is pretty cool. So we'll have a few more guys starting in that office shortly. So the team will be expanding even further.
And can you tell me a little bit about the ethos of Adyen?
So what the owners did of Adyen, they previously worked in the industry, and they looked across the industry and actually thought, this needs disrupting. You don't need 3 different suppliers to complete that payment chain. So, they went away and actually built Adyen and realised that you could do it all on one platform. But they wanted to do it, and while they wanted to disrupt and be kind of hooligans, but they want to do it in a fun way as possible. So we don't wear suits, we've got flexible working, and we have a great culture within Adyen. So I think kind of that's where we sit.
Oh, that's awesome. Is there anything about Adyen that might surprise viewers?
Yeah, and I think it kind of leads on from what we just said about looking to really change the industry and not be boring. People look at payments, I think, from outside the industry and think payments is a little bit boring. And we've really tried to change that. We don't turn up in suits. We're not a bank. We do things slightly differently. I think you've got to love working for a company if you really want the customers to love it as well. And I think that's what we do really well. I think everyone has so much passion for Adyen that works here. Very much so as you guys do when you're talking about Magento. And I think we have that same kind of passion.
How do you feel that your company fits in with the wider Magento community?
Since the invention of Magento 2 and all of that, the additional benefits that has brought the community, we now have over 800 merchants on Magento 1 and 2, the likes of Grays, Paul Smith, Gant, etc., all using our in-house Magento 1 and 2 plugins. And the reason they've chosen Adyen, I suppose, and how we fit in there is that as they want to go global, we can take them there. So we take over 250 alternative payment methods, for example, or over 180 different currencies. So we're giving them that full omni-channel offering. So we're getting that payment in store, that payment online. So again, we're just as excited about the future of Magento and as our merchants.
I love how global you guys are, especially with how global the Magento community is. I think it's a really great fit.
I think that's where our merchants is as well. So many times over the last 5 years, merchants see me and Brian, we really want to go expand across Europe, across Asia, across the US, but we can't find a payment solution that wants to take us there, or we end up having 4 or 5 different acquirers. And Adyen has solved that solution by having just that ability to take merchants global by having local acquiring and also local payment methods.
I love the idea of being locally global or globally local. I love that saying, be local everywhere. I think that's really awesome. So what do you think are the best reasons to sponsor Meet Magento UK?
We've made some fantastic connections at Magento Imagine, and that's kind of like the start for us. And we want to show that we're really committed to Magento. We see kind of Meet Magento is a great stepping stone between Magento Imagine in Vegas, Magento Imagine Europe in Barcelona. And we also want to support one of our great partners, JH, as well in that, because we think they're great in the community, and we've got some fantastic Magento partners and retailers. And I think we just need to show that Adyen is as passionate about Magento as you want us to be.
We love passion in this community. How did you become involved in sponsoring Meet Magento UK?
Myself and some of my colleagues went to Magento Imagine in Vegas, and it was a real eye opener for me. And I'm not just saying this, I've come away from the event so inspired. I was inspired by leading the charge. I thought that was just amazing, and what that meant to everyone. I was inspired by the Big Jam Run. To see the community come together to do that event and be part of that event was just superb. You know, I was inspired by Jamie Foxx and his quote about fear, and what's on the other side of fear is nothing. So what have you got to be worried about, or what have you got to be fearful about? I was inspired by Philip Jackson and his keep turning up. And we've kind of turned that into a mantra within the mid-market team, you know. You keep turning up so people keep remembering who you are, and especially across that Magento community. And I just come away so inspired, and that I haven't lost that inspiration. You know, sometimes you go away from an event and you think, oh, well, didn't take much away from that. But to still be inspired, you know, probably two months down the line, it's something special.
It is so true. It's such an inspirational event, and it really does give you that want and that like drive to get back into everything that you want to do and push forward.
That inspiration, that drive to keep close to that Magento community, because you can see what it means and the passion it means to people, and you think, actually, hold on, we can actually add value to that as well.
What do you think makes the Magento community such an important part of the e-commerce industry overall?
Again, leading back from Vegas and Imagine, that everyone seems so close within that Magento community. You know, we're close to in the UK. We've got so many web developers. You know, every time we talk to merchants, 1 in every 3 merchant we land, I would say, is a Magento merchant. We've built our plugins for our merchants, and they're able to use every single piece of that plugin, whether it's the alternative payment methods, subscriptions, etc. And we think we can be a huge player or partner within that community, with the developers, with partners, and with the retailers. And we're really excited about what's going to happen next in Magento.
Yeah, especially with Adobe now coming on board as well. I think it's going to be really, really good. So what do you think has been the biggest leap forward in the e-commerce industry so far?
Yeah, I think the biggest leap forward in e-commerce, and again, when I joined Adyen, it kind of really opened my eyes, because who knew that alternative payments were going to be so different to cards? I mean, in the UK, we're so card-centric. We just love paying by card. And you know, if you're not within the industry, or if you're a retailer that just operates in the UK, you think cards are the be-all and end-all. But you start going into Europe and you start seeing bank transfers, or a delayed payment, or kind of split payments. And then you start going out even further and you start seeing these social payments like WeChat Pay, and then you start seeing the development of Apple Pay, and you're thinking, hold on a minute, there's more to this industry than just card payments. So I think definitely the biggest leap forward has been those alternative payment methods.
I think it's interesting, you see the way that people pay all over the world. And yeah, I think in this country we have been in a bit of a card bubble. Like you say, like we don't realise, like we think PayPal's the best thing ever, but then you've got people in China that literally just text each other money.
Exactly.
And yeah,
it's I think in the UK it'll take us a while to get our heads around that kind of change.
Yeah.
That change in the payment methods. I think it will come, and we're already seeing Chinese nationals, etc., using WeChat Pay, etc., in the UK. But for us to move away from cards will take some kind of doing.
With that in mind, how do you actually see the e-commerce industry moving forward, like in the next 12 months or so?
You know, the rise of mobile payments on tablets. Everyone used to use your mobile or your tablet for just a browser. You'd look on there, you'd probably decide what you wanted to buy, and then you'd probably go on your laptop and buy it. Times have changed now. Mobiles, everyone wants to pay on their mobile, and there's different ways of paying too. You know, you've got your likes of Apple Pay, Android Pay, etc. So everyone now wants to all pay in-app. But the way people are paying, or the way that authorization is changing as well. So now you have biometrics that is becoming more popular. So we're no longer relying on passwords or codes. You know, it's either your thumbprint or even your face now that is making that payment.
It's crazy, all the different ways that you can pay on a mobile and all the ways that are coming out. Would you say that that's what you're most excited about in like the upcoming changes that are coming in the e-commerce industry, what are you most excited about?
Yeah, I think for me, and I think for Adyen as well, and I think for a lot of our Magento merchants, what we're seeing now is that they're looking for a solution where that blurred line between e-commerce and point of sale is changing. You know, the customer now is in charge of their payment or wanting to pay, compared to usually, you know, previously, you know, our mums and dads might have just gone in store and paid for everything in store. They queue up at a till and paid. Millennials now don't have that same, or they don't want that same experience. They want to be able to go online, purchase something online, and if it doesn't fit, rather than send it back, they'll go into the local store and want to exchange that or to refund that with the same payment. They don't want to be able to, you know, they want to be able to see that payment process has happened seamlessly. So that's that blurred line of e-commerce and point of sale.
I think that is a great way of putting it, the blurred lines of like, it doesn't matter where I've brought it or where I am, I want it to be the same, and I want to be able to pay and get a refund in the same way.
Exactly, and the rise of endless aisle as well has helped that. You know, there's so many different now endless aisle solutions, and Magento, as well that eBiz March, for example, that do a great endless aisle solution, and so being able to help them again with their merchants that go in store but actually get some e-com payment can be quite interesting.
Now, obviously, you guys are going to be a big part of Meet Magento UK. Why do you feel that attending this event is a good idea?
We'll probably go back to what we kind of said earlier about how inspired we are by someone like Philip Jackson, who is, you know, evangelist regarding all things Magento, and his comment that we keep leading back to, which is keep turning up. We want to keep turning up and making sure that everyone knows that Adyen is there. You know, everyone in the UK uses Adyen somewhere but never knows it, because we're the power behind the payments, because we process for such big merchants, or, you know, and such subscription merchants, that you probably never know it, but it's Adyen kind of pushing that payment. So we just need to keep turning up. We need to keep telling that Adyen is still there, but we need to get as well behind that Magento community, and everyone knows that about our plugins, about how we differentiate between our competitors, but also that we can also help Magento merchants grow their revenues by taking them cross-border.
Excellent. I think that is a really important message. And I've got one final question for you. What are you most looking forward to about Meet Magento UK?
I think we're really looking forward to speaking to retailers, to again help them understand their current payment journey and their current Magento journey, and then seeing where they are and what potentially we could offer them. You know, what barriers have they got to payment at the moment, whether that is that in-store online blurring of the lines, or whether that is that how global do they want to go to, what's their next steps. But we also want to keep speaking to our partners as well, you know, understand how we can help them and with their merchants, and how we can get closer to them. So I think we've got a lot of people we want to talk to at the event, and I think we're just hoping and it's going to be such a great event, and if it's anything to go with Magento Imagine, it'll be amazing.
We're all carrying that same drive and that same buzz forward from Imagine, and yeah, we really hope that it lives up to everything that we want it to. But yeah, that's all my questions. So thank you so much, Brian.
No problem at all. Really enjoyed it.
Brill. Have you got any closing remarks that you want to end on?
I'd just like to say to people that are watching that we're really looking forward to Meet Magento. I think it'd be just a fantastic event. As we've kind of like touched on, Magento Imagine was great, and we really want to support JH in this Meet Magento, and you know, we're proud to be part of it.
Oh, well, we really appreciate it. We really do. Thank you so much again, Brian. And thank you for watching. If you have got your ticket, then we look forward to seeing you. And if you haven't, go and get it quickly, because we are less than a week out now. So yeah, it's going to be a brilliant buzz. So we'll see you there.